If you're coming on a trip and can only bring 2 boards, then choosing the right tools for the job is going to have more impact on your progression and enjoyment than just about anything else. In our last video, I talked about the benefits of a performance mid-length, and this video is kind of going to be a bit of a follow-on from that and basically talk about how I would build a 2-board quiver if you're coming on a coaching trip to the Maldives or Indonesia. Now, to be completely honest, in an ideal world, I would probably always travel with 3 boards. For me, 3 boards kind of offers the perfect blend of portability, versatility, and redundancy. But it's not always practical or possible to travel with 3 boards. And for level 2 guests, it's simply not necessary. The bottom line is many guests who come on our trips are going to bring just 2 boards with them. And so this is my take on the ultimate 2-board quiver. First up, by far and away, the biggest mistake I see is a surfer bringing 2 boards that are too similar or not suited to them. We see it every season. It's day 1, someone opens their board bag, they look at the boards, they look at the conditions, and then they come over to us and say, which one should I surf? Well, that's not really the mindset you want to be in. You want to have very clear intention. Okay, I've packed this board for this reason and that board for that reason. And when you look at the conditions, it should be easy to go, okay, this is the right board for the job. Sure, if you're a level 5 surfer or a professional surfer, then yeah, you're going to feel the difference between your 5'10" shortboard, your 5'9" step down and your 5'11" step up. But for the majority of average surfers, we need a clear distinction between our boards, especially when you're trying to cover maximal ground with minimal gear. Now, I'd say the sort of conventional approach to building a 2-board quiver would be to pick 1 board for smaller days and 1 board for bigger days. But I don't really love this approach for a couple of reasons. Let's say you pick a groveler and a high performance shortboard. Well, that's going to cover you really well until the waves get to the edge of your comfort zone. And then all of a sudden a pumping swell arrives and you're paddling around on a toothpick feeling completely undergunned on the day when you could potentially be looking to get the best wave of your life. On the other hand, you could pack a step down and a step up. But then if it's head high and rippable, you're kind of not going to be feeling like you're able to do your very best surfing when the conditions allow for it. And so that's why on this occasion, I've taken a bit of a different approach. 1 board which will allow me to surf my best, even when the conditions and my body allow for it. And another board that extends both the lower and upper range of my shortboard, or just gives me another option if the body's feeling tired or I just want something easy to surf. For me, as a level 4 surfer, the first board in the bag and sort of the anchor point of my quiver is always going to be my high performance shortboard. This is the board that I ride when I want to do my best surfing in waves from sort of chest high to a few feet overhead. This particular board is the Slater Designs FRK Swallow in Ibolic construction. I'm 5'7" and 70 kilos. This board is 5'8" by 18 and 5/8 by 2 and 7/16 at 27.4 litres. Now, full transparency, I would actually say that this board is the second best sort of daily driver shortboard I've had, with my all-time favourite being the Sharp Eye Inferno 72. However, one thing I would say that this board has got in its favour is it's probably a little bit better in the sort of lower wave range, which works really well for the majority of days in the Maldives. So this is the board I'm going to pick when my body and energy levels feel good, when the waves look rippable, and when I want to do my best surfing. All right, then on to board number 2, which for me on this occasion is a performance mid-length, more specifically the Slater Designs Boss Up. Now, I recently posted a full review on this board, so if you want to kind of hear more about my thoughts specifically on this board, then I'll link that video in the description below and you can go and check that out. This particular board is a 6'6" by 20 and 1/8 by 2 and 7/8 at 39.5 litres. In golf, pros use blade irons, but you wouldn't even dream of giving blades to a mid-handicap golfer. So why are there so many of us paddling around on the surfing equivalent of the blade, which is the high-performance shortboard? On the other hand, a mid-handicap golfer would play with a set of cavity back irons, and that's kind of how I see something like the Boss Up. They're forgiving, they're easy to hit, but they still allow a good golfer to perform at their best. And for me, that's exactly what the Boss Up does. Surfing is already hard enough, and I don't really feel like we need to be making it any harder for ourselves. Let's face it, most of us don't surf 4 to 6 hours per day for 10 days straight. So by day 6, when you're sunburnt and held together with physio tape, that high performance shortboard is going to look a lot less appealing. However, the one advantage that we've got over golfers is that golfers are only allowed to have one set of irons in the bag, whereas as a traveling surfer, we can travel with multiple sets of clubs. So even if your primary board is a blade, it makes sense to have at least one cavity back in the bag as well. The bottom line is that this board is super versatile, and I'll use it in the following situations. Number one, if the waves are too small or soft for my shortboard, this thing's got glide for days. Number two, if the waves are a bit above my shortboard, the Boss Up gives me a lot of paddle power and a lot of confidence in bigger conditions. Or number three, if I'm just feeling tired or not super energized, or I just want to head out for an easy surf, this is the one I'm going to grab. So there we have it. For me, this is the ultimate two-board quiver. You can still have fun when the waves are mushy and waist high. You can charge with confidence on the very biggest and best days, or you can still do your absolute best surfing when the waves are rippable. Now, this approach should work for most surfers on most trips, but there are a couple of little changes that I would make for a level 2 surfer or a level 3 surfer. If you're a level 2 surfer, wave count should be your number one priority, so ditch the performance shortboard and bring 2 mid-lengths with you instead. Obviously, as a level 2 surfer, realistically, you're probably not going to be looking to charge double overhead surf, so you're going to want to pick a board model that's better suited to the lower end of the wave range. Think of something like the Thunderbolt Harley Ingleby Mo. That's going to be great in smaller surf. And then your second board should basically be a backup of the first board. That's kind of going to be your insurance if your primary board gets damaged or broken. On the other hand, if you're a level 3 surfer, I'd go for a similar approach to what I've gone for, but swap the performance shortboard for something that's a little bit more forgiving. Remember, when we're talking about performance shortboard, it's completely relative to your ability. So you just want to choose something that's going to allow you to do your best surfing. Something like the SLATER Designs S-Boss is going to give you a lot more forgiveness than something like the FRK, and complement the Boss Up really nicely if sized appropriately. We see over 200 surfers each season on our trips, and without fail, the ones who progress the most are the ones who catch the most waves and therefore get the most video feedback. At the end of the day, we just want you turning up relaxed, confident, and with the right equipment to have the best 10 days of your life. If you want to find out more about our world-class coaching trips, hit the link in the description below. We're already around 90% sold out for 2026, but our 2027 schedule will be dropping very soon, and our mailing list subscribers get access to those trips and dates before they go live on our website. As always, if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to the channel, drop any questions or comments below, and I hope to surf with you in paradise in the not too distant future.